Hey, what's up guys, it's Iggy. So I just want to do a real quick talk today about kind of what I like to call the do everything rifle. It's really just a blend of the general purpose rifle and special purpose rifle concepts. A lot of people call the general purpose rifle, the 14.5 or something, right around 14.5 to 16 inch with a magnified optic, usually, a 1:6 or a 4x fixed or something like that. And then you've got your SPR, which is usually 18 inches, 18 to 20 or whatever, that is set up specifically for longer range shooting. So this is kind of a blend between those. It's a 14.5, just like the general purpose rifle is, but it's got a 2 to 12 power scope with the piggyback red dot sight. I've got a 14.5 that when when I don't have the suppressor on it, now it's much shorter. If I'm shooting indoors, I know my offset anyway, so use the red dot sight. I don't need to really worry about it, but I can also crank it to 2x so that if I'm indoors and let's say someone's really deep in a room, I need a little extra magnification, just pop my head down. Now I've got just a tiny bit extra magnification without really needing to mess with anything. I don't have to twist anything, it's already there. Something that's nice and compact and very low recoil, especially this gun. I've got an H3 buffer in it. It's a mid-length gas system, and especially when the suppressor's on it, this rifle weighs in right about 12 pounds, and so especially when the suppressor's on it, it's got really low recoil, but even with the suppressor off, it's still super easy to control. So the reason it's set up the way that it is, the scope on top, 2 to 12. So I wanted to have something that is, most scopes start at about 3 power or even 2.5. I wanted something just a little less than that. I'd be fine even if someone made a 1.5, like a 1.5 to 12 or 15 or something like that. I'd be cool with that. But I'm fine with 2. So I've got the low end of 2. I've got a really wide field of view with that and just a little bit extra magnification in my naked eye. And sometimes I find that that's just a lot easier for me to process whenever I'm shooting, because whenever I use a 1x on an LPVO, let's say, just because of my vision, my vision's not perfect, but it's close enough that I don't really feel the need to wear glasses or contacts in a day-to-day life. But whenever I shoot, if I'm shooting through my LPVO on 1x, because I've adjusted the diopter to be absolutely perfect to where it looks super crisp in my right eye, with my left eye being not augmented by the lenses, it essentially gives me this weird thing where my left eye is just slightly blurrier than my right eye, and it causes a little bit of funkiness in my brain, and it's just hard to process. And so just having that little bit of extra magnification helps my brain kind of zero in on what I'm looking at. And again, if I need to have a 1x, that's what this is for. It's an actual red dot sight. I'm not having to worry about burning out all the batteries in this, just trying to run my gun as a pseudo red dot on 1x. I just keep it at 2x. If I need extra magnification, bump it up a little bit. If I need even more, it's to make positive ID at longer range, bump to 12. It's got a really nice reticle in it. It's got the big donut with the dot in the middle, and then I've got a Christmas tree underneath. So it's good for close range. It's good for long range. I know a lot of people were kind of balking at the fact that I hold, but whenever you're shooting at longer ranges, and especially in like an urban environment where you may have targets popping out at 25 yards right in front of you, and then all the way out at 300 or 400 yards, I'd like to have a lot of versatility. So the whole concept is to be able to have one rifle that can do anything that you need it to do. Obviously this is 5.56, one of the most popular calibers that there is in the United States. You literally can go just about anywhere and find a box of it. Even if it's just, crappy FMJ, you can find something. So that's why it's in 5.56. I could have done other calibers. 6.5 Creedmoor would have been a great one. Even out of a short barrel, they still put out pretty good results. But I wanted to have something that acts as kind of like a fighting rifle as well. So you can easily shoot indoors with it. It's easy to, take corners without bumping into, doorways or anything like that. And also, what's nice is with this suppressor, it's a 30 cal suppressor, and it's super long. It's almost 10 inches long. That paired with the H3 buffer and mid-length gas system, this gun is extremely quiet, and it has almost no back pressure and very little recoil as well, just due to just the whole setup and the weight of the can. So I really enjoy that. It's super easy to make really quick consecutive hits at, say 600 yards. It's really, it's not an issue at all, unless you've got super high winds. 600 is pretty easy with this setup. Some people were talking about the velocity with the 75 grain boat-tail hollow point from AAC, which is only 60 cents a round, by the way. Super great deal. Definitely hit that up. You can get the 300 round pack for, I don't know what that would be. It was like $100 and something, but it's pretty great. And it's super accurate. This rifle's shooting them, about 1 MOA. And again, this is literally just kind of the cheaper $300 arrow upper, and it's shooting 1 MOA. So take that for what it's worth. Anyway, so I'm putting out 1 MOA at 100 yards with this. I can easily hit man-sized targets and even reduced size, like C-zone size targets, out to about 600 with this, no problem. When you start to get into 700-800 yards, that's going transonic, and so it does start to get a little bit squirrely, but the 75 grain seems to handle the transonic transition pretty well. So even out to 800 yards, it's fairly consistent. But yeah, so the do everything rifle concept is essentially, you've got a zombie apocalypse or a complete societal breakdown, whatever. And, it's you're out in the woods, you're trying to stay light, stay mobile. You can only have one rifle, but you need to be able to accomplish the maximum number of tasks with it. You can't have something that's specifically dedicated to short range, because if you start taking fire from, 300-400 yards, even further, and you've got just a red dot and, a 10.3, you can still do that, but you're really, really hindering yourself. Whereas if you've got a 14.5 and you've got a magnified optic, so you can actually see what you're engaging at longer range, and, that may be behind debris or that's behind cover, or, whatever. It's just a lot easier to make hits at much further distances. And even with a 14.5, like I said in the comments, that at 800 yards, this is still hitting with the energy that a 22 Magnum would hit you with at point blank. And so I know that's nothing crazy, but guys, a 22 Magnum at point blank will still 100% kill you. Sure, it may not drop you like a sack of potatoes like, a full-size battle rifle would, or, hitting it with a 300 Norma or something like that. But again, that's not what this is designed to be able to do. If you're taking shots at someone at 800 yards, but, I've got essentially no recoil, I don't even necessarily need to be mega accurate. I can just start lobbing in rounds, but because this gun has almost no movement when you fire, it's just gonna be a cone of lead, and it'll poke holes in you, and poking holes in you will make you leak, and when you leak, you assume room temperature. So, if you're wearing body armor, good for you, but You know, body armor only covers so much of your body. If you get hit in the legs, you get hit in certain parts of your arm, you get hit in your neck, your face. Lots of places bleed a whole lot. So, you know, anyway. I went to the range a couple weeks ago to film some videos. Unfortunately, it was extraordinarily windy. It was like a steady wind of 10 to 15 miles an hour with gusts up to 25 to 30. And anyway, just not a really good day for shooting 5.56 for sure. You know, out to 400, still pretty good, but past 400 yards, it was just, you know, it was a complete mess, to be honest with you. But anyway, I'll go back next time, film some cool videos. I do have a loophole shooting video coming up soon. You know, shooting through tiny holes at long distance targets. There's only a few videos on YouTube that I've seen that actually kind of go through it, but none of them really go into it with a lot of detail for some reason. It's pretty simple, and I'll show you guys how to do it, and just stay tuned for that. And if you've always been interested in that, because I know all the sniper documentaries act like it's this super mega top secret thing, and guys, it's really simple. It's just learning how to use a calculator, like a ballistics calculator, and measuring tape, and maybe a laser rangefinder. But you don't even necessarily need that. But anyway, yeah. So stay tuned for all that stuff. Go down in the comments. Let me know what you think. Again, this is the do everything rifle. A lot of people talked about mission creep. Yeah, that's kind of the point. If you had to make a rifle for mission creep, because you can only have one rifle for for everything that you could possibly require, from close range to shooting out to, literally half a mile at 880 yards. This gun can do that while still offering very low recoil and to be able to utilize one of the most widely available calibers in the country. So anyway, yeah, go down in the comments, let me know what you think. Like I said, got that video coming up, and got some more things coming down the pipeline too, so stay tuned.